was Reese Palmer and Holly G. So the
Okay.
reason why I was able to
Yes.
make this pivot during the pandemic is because I was I was getting a little bored with my other social media platforms, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, let me go check out Twitter and see what they're doing. And Reese Palmer was on Twitter. She
Mm.
is the host of Color Me Country Radio,
Mm-hmm.
which highlights Black, Brown, LGBTQ, pretty much anybody and everybody who is not a straight white man in country music, right?
Wow.
And
More people.
she, yeah, and she made that radio show in honor of Linda Martell,
Ah,
who,
yes, the queen.
yes, the queen. Now everyone is starting to know, and shout out, of course, to Beyonce for having her on the
Yes.
album. But really, Reese Palmer has been doing the hard work of making sure her legacy didn't go unnoticed.
Mm.
And she named that country music radio show off of Linda Martell's I believe her debut album, which
Right.
was called Color Me Country.
Woo, that's beautiful.
And so Linda Martell was the first woman to have her songs on the charts, right?
Mhm.
I believe first woman, I think back in 1969.
Yeah, she was.
And so Reese Palmer then was the first Black woman to chart after X amount of years back in 2009, I believe, right? And so
Hmm.
there's this huge gap between Black women and their representation on the charts in country music. And she was one of the few women to have done that. So she started Color Me Country
Hmm.
Radio.
Hmm.
I started to follow along because I would perform and I would play my guitar. I never called myself country, but people would tell me when they heard me,
Ah.
they'd say, "Man,
Mm.
you got this country vibe to you." And I just didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know if there
Mm.
was a space for me. So when I saw
Mm.
Reese Palmer and Mickey Guyton, right, I started to follow along and follow this community. And another person who was following that community was a woman by the name of Holly G. And Holly
Mm.
G, being a huge fan of country music, but also being afraid as a Black and queer woman to go to
Okay.
country music
Yeah.
concerts, decided to start a online profile, right, an online blog called the Black Opry, where she began to collect profiles on social media of other Black artists doing country music. And so between the two of them, this movement starts to explode and
Mm.
and start running. And so that finally gave me the confidence to step out fully and unapologetically me, and knowing that I and my three chords and my truth were good enough because they
Mm.
built a community to tell me that I was good enough and to make me feel welcome.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love it. That's powerful. I'm just about to start crying. I love it. I love women who empower other women, especially women of color. It's a beautiful thing. I would like to know. So you didn't know, even as being younger, and that you're talented, that you did music, but you had no idea you were going to go in this direction. No time in your life, or I'm just asking that.
No, honestly, because growing up as a kid, especially a 90s kid, like it was R&B, like SWB, TLC.
Come on now.
My parents had us on the Anita Baker and the Sade and the Roberta Flack from the
Uh
80s.
huh.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So we didn't actively listen to country music, but I did know country music because
Okay.
when the hits, we knew what was popping. We love us some Shania Twain, right? And
Yeah.
everybody
hundred
knew.
percent.
I got friends in low places, and Faith Hill was dropping. She was dropping some gems.
Yeah.